What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Monday, June 4th, or 3rd, not the 4th. Figured I'm in the middle of basically restocking and trying to put some of these envelopes and stuff up. Figured I might as well make a quick video, bust it up with y'all a little bit, you know what I mean? Sales, pretty good this weekend. I have no complaints, not even from eBay. Although, looked kind of bleak on Friday going into Saturday, but they kind of picked up. You want to know something I realized too? Like, so I've been, as I do more and more, comping items and stuff, right? Man, I am steadily coming across stores that I never know existed. And look, I save a lot of sellers, especially larger sellers that sell in my categories, for various reasons. Sometimes I buy stuff from them, and then sometimes I just need to keep tabs. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to spy on these fools. But like today, I came across a seller, man, when I was doing research on, or just comping, not necessarily research, but I was comping some of the, little blow jars and things like that I got, and I came across a store. This store, man, I never heard of this store, and it's not like. Let me see if I can find it again. I actually saved it. Let me go to my saved sellers. Okay. I ain't gonna say the name of it, but this store has been a member since 2014, y'all. They got 23,730 items in their store, 264K items sold. I have never come across this store before. I mean, and I know I didn't, because when I was searching these particular items, a lot of the listings I was comping against was their listings. And that's usually kind of how I go. And I don't know if it's just with 23,000 items, you would think I would have came across this store before. But I swear to goodness, I'm always finding different stores, which lets me know that eBay does, I don't want to say hide people's stores, but it's crazy that you can go years comping the same types of items and never come across some of the biggest sellers on the platform in your category. That's crazy. I don't even understand how that's possible. It ain't even like I'm in a different category. If I was listening in a different category, that's different, right? But I don't know, man. I don't know. It makes me wonder about my own items, right? If a seller with 23,000 items ain't showing up on a lot of items I comp, but then when I go through their store, I see that they do sell the same types, and then all of a sudden they just start popping up. I don't know. What does that do to? But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I'm wondering if any of y'all ever experienced the same thing. One thing I do want to talk about is, knowing your business and like what type of business you want to run, and what decisions you make based on the type of business you want to run. And the reason I bring that up is because I think people sometimes try to run businesses that are based on maybe what their favorite YouTuber does, right? Instead of doing their own business and making decisions based on how their setup is and how their sourcing is. It's like having an identity. It's like in sports when they say a team, like you got a good team, but they keep losing these close games. They ain't got no identity. When they get down to it, who are they? So I think I think a lot of sellers need to ask themselves, who are they as a seller? Who are they? Like, who are you? What is your what is your model based on? And when you find that identity, I'm not going to say stick to it, through hell and high water, because if it ain't working, then it ain't working, you got to change up. But nevertheless, I think the more that you devote yourself to something that's more specific, right? I think the easier it is to come up with solutions, the easier it is to find solutions, and just the easier it is overall to figure it out. It's okay to take little stuff here and there from sellers, but I wouldn't change nothing dramatic based on what another seller is doing. And I know I've been guilty of that in the past, and it's taken me time to learn not to do that. But there is a lot of good advice out there too. So, take the good with the bad, man. Take what applies to you, and whatever don't, just let it go. A lot of people still, saying this and that about eBay, and they got their knocks. I don't mind. Listen, I've been selling stuff on eBay that I know I can't sell on other platforms just because it's just not perfect. I don't want eBay to go nowhere. eBay serves a purpose. Former things that I used to do didn't work, so I had to change it up, and I still am, and it's working out better for me. My eBay store is not that big. It's going to probably be growing here now. So and I don't know if I said this in my other video or not, but the person that I had working for me, not only has she been sorting, but I've been teaching her how to list. I think I did say that in the other one. So she's been listing, and I'm just teaching her to get used to the process right now. Once she gets used to the process and everything is pretty much in there, which shouldn't be that long. She's smart. Once she does that, then we'll work on getting faster. But right now, it's fine. But as long as I got her doing that, my eBay store is probably going to grow a little bit more now because I can actually list stuff faster. Although I still do schedule out. I'll just have more scheduled out to go live day by day. I was doing just like 3 or 4 a day. I'll probably end up upping that to, I don't know, we'll see, 5, 10, 15, who knows. Depends on how many I get listed. But which brings me to another conversation, which is about hiring and this and that. I was watching John's well, not necessarily, I don't know, John, Beard, Scott, and Josh, Profit Playbook this past weekend. And one of the things they had talked about was hiring. And, everybody made some good points. And I really wish that they would have delved into this just a little bit more. And I even commented on that. I wish they would have. I know Beard mentioned in the comments about Profit First, which Scott, I have read that book a couple of times. Well, listened to it. I actually have the book at home. Read through that once and listened to the audio a couple of times. So a lot of the stuff that I do now actually comes from that book. But when you think about hiring, and I understand John's point too, as far as hiring, when you hire somebody, you want to be making more money. Because Bear had brought up the point that in the book Profit First, he was talking about, you take a certain amount of money and you set it aside as if you was paying an employee or a contractor, whatever. And when and then you see how that affects your business. So for instance, if I calculate that it's going to cost $500 a month for me to hire somebody, maybe I need, I don't know, 5 to 10 hours worth of work done per week, right? Whatever. Let's just do this. We'll say 10 hours a week. We'll say $10 an hour just to make everything round numbers. So 10 hours a week, $10 an hour, that's $100 a week, $400 a month. So then you would say, okay, I'm going to put this $400 to the side every month, and I'm going to see what type of effect that has on my business. Because if I'm not mistaken, and if I get this wrong a little bit, John and y'all, I'm sorry, and this ain't meant to be like nothing negative. I just wanted to kind of put a little insight into that conversation based on my experience. That's all. So anyway, you put the $400 a month to the side, see how it affects your business. Now, if you can put that $400 to the side and, there's no real negative effect, deleterious effect on your business from doing that, then technically you should be okay to pay that to a person. Now, it goes without saying that when you add that person, you're doing it with the thought in mind that you need to increase productivity, because you're not going to just keep giving away $400 a month. Now, question is, how is that productivity going to be increased, right? There's multiple ways that you can increase productivity. So I agree with Tech and Sports when he say when you hire somebody to do when you hire somebody, you should get them to do shipping first. Problem with my situation is that I can't find nobody right now that can come in the morning and do shipping yet. That's why she's doing sorting. But that takes me to the next point of bottlenecks. Sometimes the problem with increasing productivity is not necessarily a sourcing issue, and it's not necessarily anything like that. It's time, right? You don't have time, and so you get these bottlenecks. And if most of y'all know what a bottleneck is, and for those of you who don't, I want you to just picture a funnel, and it's wide on the end, and as you go, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and squeezes. So it's kind of simplified, example of what a bottleneck is. So you'll basically come to this point where everything will either come to a stop or slow down so much that you start to get overflow. You'll get backup, right? You start getting backed up. And then that backup causes you to get behind. And so not only are you not increasing productivity, or at least maintaining, but now you're getting behind. So then productivity slows to a crawl. If not, it comes to a total stop, right? And so in my situation, I got two bottlenecks. One, sorting. So when inventory comes in, I spend an inordinate amount of time sorting. So we got to clear that up. Two would be shipping, but not every day. Not shipping ain't every day yet. Okay, not yet. And then the next one will be listing. Because now if I'm getting in thousands of units per month, right? I can only, while I have the money to order more, I can't order more because I can only process so much. So I get it in. Now I got to sort it, right? After I sort it, then I got to list it. I got to list it on eBay. I got to list it on whatever's going on eBay, whatever's going on Walmart and Amazon, on those two. I can't do it all. So what enters in employee? How does this employee increase my productivity or increase my revenue, right? There's multiple ways you can increase revenue, so I don't want to go into all that. You can increase your average sale price, whatever, right? But at some point, you're going to get to the max, because the higher you go with average sale price, the harder it's going to be to get products. Okay, so now my revenue is going to increase by addressing those bottlenecks, by addressing first the sorting part, which takes the longest, right? I can list faster than I can sort, for sure, for damn sure. And then after I address the sorting, I address the listing part, pictures and things like that. This is on the eBay side. It's faster on Walmart and Amazon, of course. Now, we ain't even gonna get into the fact that you can do FBA and fulfill by Walmart. I ain't even getting to that part. That's gonna be a different thing. But I'm just talking about in the vein of when you should hire, or even if you should. I don't think most people need to. Here's the thing. When you get to the point where you have your systems as, streamlined and efficient as you possibly can get them, and you've done everything that you can on that end, but you still, you want to go past a certain point, but you can't get past it. That's when you should consider it, because not all the time do you even need to go past a certain point, but only if you want to. And sometimes it might not even be you want to, it might be you have to, if you want to be able to pay your bills and everything. So what she's doing and what she's been doing, sorting. Then once the sorting is done, we come over here We do the listing. So she's been listing, well, taking pictures and listing. Now the process, of course, is slow right now, but that's fine. I'm not even going to say nothing about that to her right now. I'm going to wait until she kind of gets her feet up under her. And then after that, I'm going to say, hey, you feel comfortable with everything, blah, blah, blah. She said, yeah. I'm like, all right, now let's see what's going on. And I'm going to watch her process, and then we'll work on things that can make her faster. But for now, that's freeing me up to do what's important for the business, which is get stuff up on these platforms, take care of the orders, and that's pretty much it, right? Get it up and take care of the orders. I mean, eventually at some point, I wouldn't mind having somebody help me ship, but she can't work in the mornings, and I'm not going to pay 2 different people. So we'll just figure that out. That's not really an issue right now. Shipping ain't a problem except for coming off the weekend. Coming off the weekend, I definitely need some help. But weekdays, I can still handle that for the most part. So should you hire depends on a few things. I think a lot of people want to use hiring as a way to not do the work. I think you need to ask yourself, have you done everything that you can yourself? And if you have, are your systems as streamlined as possible? There's probably a couple things that I had to go over with her because it's been a while since I had somebody in here working with me. But for the most part, it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? We got a system for sorting. I pointed that out to her, and then I got a system for how I list and how the items should go. I had to go over one more thing today because I kind of forgot, as far as if something is an open box or if it should be considered used. It's going to be a process, and I don't want to give up. I don't want to put too much up on her too soon. But still, I've been able to focus more on Walmart and Amazon now, because eBay, as far as listing goes, takes the longest out of those two. And I got a lot of stuff that needs to go up on eBay. A lot. And I just won't have the time, man. I won't have the time. And so that fear affects my revenue. That affects my revenue. Because I have the potential to do more revenue, but I can't do the revenue because I'm stuck on these bottlenecks. And yes, paying her $400 to $500 a month is $400 to $500 of revenue, but it's going to come back to me because I'm going to be able to push more volume. So you can't just hire and stop there or keep doing or start doing less. Right? You can't start doing less or feel like it's a good day to take a break because you got somebody else doing it. It's you keep up your production, you keep your systems good and efficient, and you keep that same energy, but you focusing on the things in your business that are more revenue, that are geared more toward revenue generation, right? Sorting is you making money, but that's not really what's making the money. Making the money is getting the items up on the damn platform or getting them into the damn platform. That's what's going to make the money, right? So I can't be stuck doing all that. So at the end of the day, I get what everybody was saying on that specific podcast. Sometimes I just wish, and if y'all watching this, fellas, I wish y'all would kind of go more in depth with some of these lines of conversation that y'all be having. Sometimes I just want to hear more from both sides, because sometimes I might be thinking one thing and I hear y'all say it, but then, it'll go another way. And maybe I could be convinced one way or another. Maybe I thought something was a good idea, but then the more I hear it, it ain't. But, yeah, as far as that's concerned. But from my experience, I didn't really bring nobody in to help me until I got stuck doing things that really wasn't making me money, because I can't get items up if I got such a backlog that I can't even get to because it all needs to be sorted. And so address your bottle. If you got your efficiencies in order, you've done everything you can yourself, and you still got a bottleneck that's preventing you from growing, and your goal is to grow, then that's when you consider bringing somebody in. And again, hiring ain't necessarily bringing somebody on as an employee. See, there's a difference. You can bring somebody on as an employee or as a contractor. Remember this, if you bring them on as an employee, that's going to be more expensive, okay? Bringing somebody on as an employee requires you to do the whole workman's comp and the tax thing and all. It's more expensive. You bring somebody on as a contractor, they're just a 1099. You pay them what you pay them, $10, $15, $20 an hour, and then at the end of the year, you give them a 1099. They take care of that. So remember that. Hiring somebody as an employee is more expensive than just bringing them on as a contractor. And if you bring them on as a contractor, you have to make sure that they use their own tools for the job. So, for instance, don't give them a laptop. They got to have their own laptop. So basically, if you got an employee, you supply the tools to do the job. If it's a contractor, then that contractor should have their own tools to do the job. That's pretty much the gist of the difference between that, right? Because if you start basically treating a contractor like an employee, then there's some things there that if that person wanted to make a big deal about it, they could, whatever. But most people won't. And so that's the difference. It's cheaper to hire somebody on as a contractor as opposed to an employee. So that's why I try to be careful when I say I got an employee, because I don't have an employee. I'm not paying workman's comp. I'm not doing state and federal tax for them. I'm not doing none of that. It's just a flat rate. At the end of the year, I'll give her a 1099 and she can take care of the rest of that. So that's the main difference. So just think about that when you're thinking if you're going to bring somebody on. I think at first it should be a contractor, not an employee. And it should be to address the bottlenecks in your business. You can't just bring them in and say, oh, I'm going to have them list. If listing might be your bottleneck, but if listing is not your bottleneck, don't do listing first. Don't do listing. It could be, if you're a clothing seller, you might be getting a crap ton of clothes, and sorting might be your bottleneck there, like mine's, right? Or if it's shoes, cleaning the shoes might be the bottleneck, right? You got a bunch of shoes, but you ain't got the time to clean them all. Bring somebody in, teach them how to clean your shoes. And then the more they learn, and the more they do, then the more you might have to pay them. But I already had that conversation with her. I said, listen, the more you do for me, then of course I'm going to pay you more, okay? But at the end of the day, y'all, I think sometimes too, you just got to be content. There's a certain point where you're going to be content. So I think you already have to have an idea of where you want your business to be at. How much do you want to grow? I think some people just do this without, they don't really have a set destination. There's nothing in the navigation system to say, hey, this is where I'm going. And so it's hard to plan out if you don't know where you're going. You got to put in a destination. Where are you trying to go with this business? What are you trying to do? How far do you want to take it? Is $50,000 of profit enough for you? Is $100,000 enough? Do you want to go to $500,000? Do you want to make $1 million a year? Each of those require a different set of goals, plans, everything, systems, all of that. Each and every last one of those is different. But you can't start until you know where you want to go. Then that's when you start to map out how you're going to get there, what it's going to take to get there. If all you want is an operation in your garage, you probably, all the hiring stuff and all the bringing people in, that ain't even for you. That conversation ain't for you, man. Source the things that you're going to source that's going to be able to make and generate the revenue that you need so that you can work out your garage. But if you're doing it full time, I'm going to assume that you're probably going to want to do more than just $50,000 a year, right? It's probably going to take a little bit more. Even if you're single these days, it'll get you by in most states. Probably not in California, but most states it'll probably get you by. But if you got a family, you're going to need more than that, right? So figure out where you want to go first. If you're just getting started and trying to get your feet under you, that's one thing. But if you find yourself right now having issues in your business and you wondering why things are always kind of not going your way and why it's always so hard to do this or that, sit back and ask yourself, what is my identity as a business owner, as a reseller? I'm reselling right now. What's my identity as a reseller? What's the core of my reselling business? And then when you figure out, where do I want to go with this? How far do I want to take it? And then when you figure that out, okay, how am I going to get there? What are the steps? All right. What are the steps so that I can reach this goal? And you can do a skeleton outline of this, or you can do an in-depth, map of it. However you want to do it. But it don't hurt. I ain't got my notebook over here. I keep 3 or 4 notebooks, y'all. and I use my phone, but I'm always writing stuff down, man. Even if it's just little bullet points, even if it's just something on my dry erase board, it don't matter. Because I know where I'm trying to go, and I know for the most part what I need to do to get there. And then you got to be courageous, and you got to be disciplined, and you just got to keep your head down, and you got to focus if you want to get there. Because just because you got a plan, you know, was it Mike Tyson? Or I don't know who said it. It might have been Tyson. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth. You should go out the window. You was ready, man. You ran it through your head 1,000 times. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna. Oh shit. Oh, hold on. Where we at again? Oh, you in a fight, man. You better focus. Listen, that's life. Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth. So that's why it's important to at least have a plan, because you need to at least have an idea and something to fall back on. And then you got your training, right? Every day you coming in. You got your routine. You doing it over and over again. You putting your reps in. You putting your time in. So when things do go wrong, you do got that experience to fall back on. But if you ain't at least got a plan and some peripheral awareness of what it is you're trying to do and where it is you're trying to go, then I feel like you're always going to struggle. Because one, you're going to be easily distracted. Somebody come here with this advice, you're going to take that and try that. Somebody come here with this new thing, you're going to get distracted by that. The most important thing to me is to know. The reason that I say that you need an identity is because the most important thing is to know who you are as a seller. If that's what you're doing right now, to know who you are as a seller, what you like, because that solidifies in your mind what it is you want to do. And then that will propel you to where it is you need to go once you figure out exactly where that is, okay? I'm going to take this thing. I need a storage unit. I need this. Or, again, I'm going to just stay in my garage. It don't matter, though. But you want to be the best version possible. You want to be as efficient as possible. And you don't want to add things that you don't need. If you don't need a helper or a worker or an employee, then forget that. Put that thought out your mind. If that's not your goal, if it's not in your goals to do that, put it out your mind and don't even worry about it. Just figure out the best way to do it for yourself, and you got to be efficient. You got to be efficient, okay? So that's kind of just what I wanted to add as far as that conversation goes, because I think a lot of people get distracted with things that might not be applicable to them and their business at the moment, you know? To them and their business at the moment, or might not be ever, which is perfectly fine. But how you going to know that if you don't know what you want to do? If you don't know where you're going? Me, I know what I want to do and where I'm going, and so I know what that plan looks like. But like along the way though, there's a lot of unforeseen things. But I'm able to kind of adjust or readjust and pivot and do what's necessary, because I already got the plan. I already have my identity. I already know who I am as a seller, what I like to do. And I've been distracted. Heck, I still get distracted sometimes. But for the most part, I'm way more solid, man. When I first started, it was crazy. But that's understandable, right? You first start, you try this and try that. But I do think the earlier you can figure it out, the better, you know? The earlier you can get a grasp of what you want to do and how you want to do it and where you want to go, the better off you'll be. And then you just get around like-minded people. So having said that, y'all, channel memberships, thank you for the people who have already joined. If you haven't joined yet, we got the Baby Hustler and the Full-Time Hustler. I got a Discord. Once you join, I'll give you the Discord link. I do have the wholesale suppliers available in the Discord. Anybody that joins can get the list. I was going through that again. There's like drop shippers and stuff in there. I ain't even see them. Like, again, there's like 29,000 entries. So once I found kind of what I was looking for the most part, I just been every once in a while when I sit down, I'll just click on some more links. I didn't even waste my time trying to like clean up the list. You can get it as is. It's yours. If you can't make money off of this list, then I don't know, man. You need to figure out something else to do, because you can either use some of the suppliers, which is going to take work to go through, or you can just resell the list. I really don't care. It's a gift, a welcoming gift to all the new members of the channel. There's going to be more to come, so I would suggest that you seriously consider joining, because it's It's going to be a lot of good things coming down the line. Look, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified next time I upload another video, and I'll catch you on the next one.